In a world of infinite possibilities, we still fear mistakes. Suppressing the noise in order to focus on the essence of one thing, to assume that there's only one right path to go. I refuse to believe that. As a designer and artist, broad variety of inspiration shows up on a daily basis for use in different creations. In the end, it is always the simple, clear and elegant that is perceived as beautiful, regardless of time and context. A perfect blend between the boring and the overwhelming, that is what brings the most pleasure. The search for the essence of what it really takes to create a certain effect leads to the willful decision against the plenty and in favor of the necessary. In today's perspective, this is what interested me with classic cars in the first place. The simplicity and repairability that comes from the logic and honesty in their design. For me, automotive design is perceived as a form of art on its own. However, to create art on a car is a rather sensitive topic. Having already been carried out by a lot of well-respected artists, one could easily think all the stories of the art car have already been told. Come on, we can do one more. In some ways, this feels natural to me, but at the same time, the question arises, what do you paint on an already existing design? To follow a basic idea and to improve it to a point where it just seems perfect. For me, the 964 can be seen as the final result of such a development. The transition from classic towards the modern sports car within the model range. I saw it as more of a cooperation. Understanding the shape and the car as a whole was the first step for me. The lines of the car are subordinate to the shape and emphasize it at the same time. Inspired by the natural reflections of the painted surfaces, there are endless possibilities of how the car could be painted. This is just one of those.
Testing our mega moon rocket and ground systems, preparing the James Webb Space Telescope for science, and testing an instrument for future X-59 research. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. From April 12th to 14th, NASA conducted a modified wet dress rehearsal for the agency's Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft on Launch Pad 39B at our Kennedy Space Center in Florida, ahead of the uncrewed Artemis 1 moon mission. The multi-day wet dress rehearsal focused on loading fuel into the rocket's core stage tanks, refining countdown procedures, and validating critical models and software interfaces. In addition to the 2 recent test runs for wet dress rehearsal, this modified test allowed teams to practice operations critical to launch success ahead of the Artemis I mission. On April 7th, the mid-infrared instrument, MIRI, aboard the James Webb Space Telescope reached a cooling milestone as it prepares for science this summer. With the assistance of a cryocooler, the instrument reached its final operating temperature of less than 7 kelvins, minus 447 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just a few degrees above the lowest temperature matter can reach. Webb's 4 science instruments, including MIRI, initially cooled off in the shade of the tennis court-sized sun shield, but making the final temperature drop is essential for the observatory's only mid-infrared instrument that will play a key role in understanding the origins of stars and planets. NASA conducted a series of flight tests at our Armstrong Flight Research Center in California to evaluate improvements made to a shock sensing probe designed to measure the unique shock waves that our quiet supersonic X-59 aircraft will generate during flight. The probe was mounted on the nose of a NASA F-15 research aircraft to measure shock waves from a NASA F-18, using flight techniques that will test the X-59's shock waves during the future acoustic validation phase of quiet supersonic flight. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope has determined the size of the largest icy comet nucleus ever seen by astronomers. The estimated diameter of behemoth comet C/2014 UN-271 is approximately 80 miles across, making it larger than the state of Rhode Island. Using a series of 5 Hubble images taken of the comet in January 2022, combined with a computer model of the surrounding dusty coma, scientists revealed a massive but measurable star-like nucleus that is about 50 times larger than what's found at the heart of most known comets. On February 14th, NASA's Lucy spacecraft obtained a series of calibration images with its 4 visible light cameras. While the first test images were taken shortly after launch, the February tests were much more extensive. Using its instrument pointing platform, Lucy pointed at 11 different star fields to test camera performance and sensitivity, as well as the spacecraft's ability to point accurately in different directions. Lucy, which launched in October 2021, is the first space mission set to explore a diverse population of small bodies known as the Trojan asteroids. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
There's no barrier. This side there's life, that side there's death.
Jess,
Coffee.
remember, you've got to get up to that spillway before the water starts to fill up. The pressure's going to get stronger every passing minute. It's already begun.
Okay. I mean, where do I start?
This power plant is the single largest one in Iceland. To drive the car in the water up the spillway would be a huge challenge for you. This has only one final ending. If something goes wrong, the car would fall off the spillway and drop down 90 meters. Probably no more of this.
This is crazy, to the point where we don't even know if it's possible.
Are you ready? Okay, good luck. That canyon's going to be impassable in 10 minutes.
Got ya.
When the water starts to run over the barrier, we have just an hour before it reaches 200 cubic meters each second. It isn't safe at all.
Það til heimildir aftur til 1345 minnir mig. Það var nú þannig að ég kom bara hérna fram og sé ég eitthvað á hreyfingu þannig í vatnsborðinu. Mér finnst Íslendingar vera svolítið feimnir í sambandi við laglarsónin. Þetta nú svona einhverjir draugar, jú, það var svona draugar hérna.
Hard right now, into the tunnel. They're really steep. It's all uphill from here. Just she's out of the tunnel. Still wanted to go up there? We have to. The water's really coming down now. Get those. Keep on going.
Copy.
Steady.
Hugurinn ber mann hálfa leið. Já, ég held að það sé hægt. Ég ætla að teka á mig ábyrgð.
We have to go right away.
The water's getting heavier.
Keyra? Bara keyra?
We're moving. We're on the move.
There's no visibility.
Draum sem ég réði á þann veg, já.
I'm Nathan Florence, your host. I'm a big wave surfer, a YouTube extraordinaire. I'm a son of a surfer, a brother to 2 surfers. In this series, you guys are going to meet some of the local talent that I think will be representing the next generation. To me, the Triple Crown is one of the most historic events in Hawaii. Our first Hawaiian world champions in surfing were crowned through the Triple Crown. Every surfer from around the world, young or old, the pros, every brand that backs surfing, all converges into one 8-mile location on the North Shore of Oahu. In the end, the Triple Crown is about celebrating surfing, which came from Hawaii. Imai is one of the mellowest, laid-back surfers you'll ever meet. But when that guy hits the water, something switches, and his surfing does the talking.
My name is Imai Kalani DeVault. I'm 24 years old from Maui, Hawaii, and I'm a professional surfer. Just got back to the North Shore, just pulling into Wailua now, almost. I think being from the outer islands in Hawaii is coming to the North Shore is always like, it's home, but it's not home, you know? So it's like, you're definitely never just comfortable right away. Maui guys have always been solid over on the North Shore. Like the past generation guys like Ty Van Dyke and Kaimana Henry, and for me like Dusty Payne. He was the first Maui guy to qualify for the CT ever. My age group is definitely the next generation. I feel like there's already almost another generation after me of like the younger kids from Maui coming over here as well, so. I'm waiting for Nate. He's meeting us here at Haleiwa. We'll just wave check and kind of talk about the waves coming and what we're up to this week. And hopefully he'll give me some waves at Pike.
I'm a big fan of really technical surfing, like techie air stuff. And so when you kind of grew and got into your own and started figuring that out, that's the direction I felt like you went, really innovative, really technical. And growing up on Maui, you have the wind all the time, so air camp every day. So and until now, where you're one of the top air guys in the world, I feel like.
I'm mellow in my demeanor, but I'm really competitive. And that's not maybe something I show. When I go surf, I really want to perform. I've had that fire to be one of the best.
It's just cool to watch your transformation in surf and see because you're pretty mellow, you know, and you did not care, you didn't conform to a certain way of, a lot of guys felt in the competing space, they had to change their surfing to fit event surfing, you know, but I feel like you've been able to keep your style, your innovation, and free flow in event surfing. So that's been cool to watch.
Thank you, appreciate it. I've always wanted to be in this position, you know?
Yeah.
It's so sick when you
that's super
coming
cool.
into it and you see the Hawaii guys that are right there, and if they perform and just clutch up,
no,
it's definitely
that's some of the most badass stuff to watch. It's okay, how's this guy gonna handle in this arena with every person from the industry here, and it's go time.
Representing as a Hawaiian is a huge part of why I like to surf, and to put in on the world stage, I'm really proud. You always dream of having the moment of it's all kind of happening, and it's weird to be in the moment. We all grow up dreaming of winning the Triple Crown, or any of these events, and it's always been a bucket list of mine to do well, and something I always look forward to, for sure.
It's missing.
It's encantado.
Você aceita meu desafio? Acepta mi reto.
Do it, do it.
Hey, acepta mi reto.
You'll accept it. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, es tu turno.
Okay. Yeah, one more.
Yes, yes. No más. Ah, qué pena.
Yes, yes, yes!
Bravo.
Hey!
Muy bien, muy bien.
Yeah, muy bien.
Hey, parabéns, conseguiu.
Agárrala.
Really? Wow.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Nice.
Bye.
It's mine.
What I tend to look for when I go to places are things that are visually appealing. When you walk down the sand dunes here in St. Lucia, just thinking of the old shipwrecks or the explorers, the first thing they saw was these long beaches and impenetrable forest. They still look exactly the same. I can't imagine there are many places in the world where you can see tons of things in one day. I want to pinch my arm and say, this can't be true. I'm in the middle of this. I think the uniqueness is that it's diverse. You could peel off layer after layer and you'll find more and more things. It's all here for you to just be part of.
May 12th, 1949. The Soviet Union announces an end to its blockade of Berlin, one of the first major crises of the Cold War. A reporter from the U.S. Armed Forces radio network is on the scene in the then divided German city.
The first vehicles are going through. Crowd in the background seem rather happy about the whole thing.
1932. In New Jersey, the body of the kidnapped son of Charles Lindbergh is found in a wooded area, miles from the aviator's home. Bruno Richard Hauptmann is later tried and executed for abducting and murdering the infant. 1907.
She's 23 years old, and the way she is just exactly the way we brought her up to be.
Actress Katharine Hepburn is born in Hartford, Connecticut. Among her movie roles, The African Queen, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, The Lion in Winter, and On Golden Pond. 1937.
Everything I ever was, I still am, and I live in sort of an adolescent envelope anyway.
Comedian George Carlin is born in New York City. He's best known for his monologue about the 7 dirty words you can't say on television and radio. And 1928, composer Burt Bacharach is born in Kansas City, Missouri. Among his melodies, Walk On By, I Say a Little Prayer, and Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. Today in History, May 12th. Camille Bohannon, The Associated Press.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,